Hello everyone and welcome back to Insights from a Nerd. Today, I'm going to be taking you through all of the books that I want to hopefully have read by June, which it's a lot of books, but also I feel like it's kind of possible considering how much of a mood I've been in. There are currently 2 books, I believe, that I don't currently own, that I don't because I haven't bought them yet, and one of them hasn't come out yet. So I want to just take you through all these books that I hopefully want to read before June. And the reason I want to read it before June is because that's my birth month. And in June, I just want to go wild, essentially. So the very first book on that list is Deadly Dreams by KJ Sutton. I have become so obsessed with the Fortuna Sworn series. I need to read this as soon as possible. And then also, the other book that I don't currently own that I want to read is the 4th book, Beautiful Nightmares by KJ Sutton in the Fortuna series. Because I know once I finish this, I'm going to want the 4th one so bad. So I just know that I have to get it. And that one's bigger than this. So I'm really excited to get into this, figure out, what Kelsey has in store for me now. Probably some heartbreak. The next 2 books I have are A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, as well as A Crown of Gilded Bones. I just want to reread these before the next book comes out in March, even if it's not like a full reread. I just want to be reminded of all the events that have happened to bring us to the point where we are in the War of Two Queens, which is the other book that I don't currently have because it's not currently out yet. I do want that, and I want to read it so fast. I want to consume it. So yeah, I just want to go back to Hawk and Poppy and these and just, relive my love for them. So that's why they're here. I probably won't fully in-depthly read them. It might just be like a quick skimming session, but anything is going to help me get back into my mojo. The next book is a book that has been recommended to me by Olivia Reads a Latte and Katie Colson because they love this book. Rightfully so. The second one also came out, so as long as I like that, I'll probably pick that one, the other one up. But this is Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. This is actually a mystery thriller book. Completely different than literally everything else that I've been reading. But they say it's funny. They really like it. I want to give it a try. It's not that long. I want to see if I love Finlay. And that's really all I want. I just think one of a nice weekend, I'm just going to sit down, power through the whole thing, Great. Glad we had this talk. The next book I want to get to is Gild by Raven Kennedy. This is a recommendation by Becca in the Books because she just did a author interview with Raven, and this is a King Midas retelling. This is adult fantasy romance, and I'm very intrigued. Also, the first one's not even that long, and I feel like I could really power through it. The other 2 books are chalkier, but I don't really mind that. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy this. And Becca said that it was super slow burn and super interesting, so my intrigue is peak. The rest of these are in no particular order because from here on out it's kind of a mess. The next book is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Unsurprisingly, I still haven't read this book. I need to. I literally keep saying I need to read this. I also love that it's such a floppy paperback. I have the whole series in paperback, so it's really only right that I finally chug along through this. But also, I just feel like it's time, So I help me make sure that this gets done because I've been saying this since I bought this book that I wanted to read it and I haven't yet. So we gotta get into gear. The next book I have is because it was an anticipated release for me last year. I do have the audiobook for it and I feel like I can probably pick that up while I'm driving soon. And that is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This is not that long. The second book has come out in this, so I really want to see how I feel about it. The audiobook is like 12 hours, which isn't even that long, and I've been listening to audiobooks on 2 times speed, so nice 6 hours, so just fly by. And yeah, I really want to pick this up. I feel like I'll also end up tabbing this one just because I'm intrigued. So this has to get read, probably just mainly audio because I have the audiobook. The next book is also because I have it on audiobook, and apparently it's a very good audiobook, and I've heard great things about it. So we have A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. This was, I don't remember why it wasn't anticipated release. I think I just really liked the synopsis, which literally starts with choose your player, and it's like a cast of people that are coming together, and this lady reminds me of Aelin Galathinius, and you know how much I love that bitch, so I just want to get it and go through it. I believe the audio is also full cast, which is super fun for me. You know how much I loved the Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom full cast, so we're gonna give this one also a shot. The next 2 books are because the duology is done and Chloe Gong is already moving on to her next duology. I gotta pick it back up, and I think Summer is also pissed that I haven't read these yet, but that is These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling that takes place in 1920s Shanghai. Everyone says that it's super fun and super good, and I have both, so why not? And they're also, like, they're similar sizes, but I really want to get to these. I love Romeo and Juliet. It's one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, and I feel like I can just probably speed through these as long as, you know, I'm just in the mode, in the zone, if you will. The next book is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. People have been just going on about this on the TikTok recently. I sound like an old person calling it the TikTok. But the second book, The Hawthorne Legacy, came out. Apparently, the love triangle is very good. So, consider me intrigued. This also doesn't look that long. A solid 372. That's a night. We just power through that. But yeah, I want to get to this because I want to see what the love triangle is about. I also want to get the second book, see how I like it, and we love a good puzzle. This is also not shelved as, like, fantasy or anything. It's shelved as contemporary fiction, so that's also interesting to me. The next book is The Invisible Life of Addy LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I want to read this because I haven't, and people keep talking about it, and I think it's time I get on the train. It's also just so, like, beautiful, and I love the spine so much. They had special editions at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, crap, why didn't I wait? But I really want to read this because everyone keeps talking about it, and it sounds really good, and people say that they love it, so I own it. Should really be making my way through this physical TBR. The next book is literally because of Olivia Reads a Latte, and that's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Again, very different than everything else that I've been reading recently, but the high school drama is apparently very, very good, and there's 2 other books in this series, and Olivia loves them, and I trust Olivia's opinions because most of the time, I fully agree with her own opinions with books, which is shocking because I normally don't agree with a lot of people about my opinions on books, but here we are. I've purchased another book because of her. So, and also, look how small. That's an afternoon. I keep saying that, and yet it took me like a whole week to read 801 pages, but that's different. The next 2 books are because they go together, and that is Cast in Firelight and Bound by Firelight by Dana Swift. Cast in Firelight was an anticipated release for me last year. I didn't know there was a second one. Saw that the second one was at Barnes & Noble. Snagged it. Couldn't help myself. I've been wanting to read this for a while. Haven't gotten to it. Need to get to it. Need to find out what these two people are up to, because I gotta know. You know, sometimes you just look at a book and you're like, yes, sign me up. Need to know what that's about. The next book is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. My friend Allie read this in one sitting, which is shocking because she never does that. But I've also been hearing more about it because Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber came out, which is apparently about another character in this world. So, gotta read this world before I can go read that book, because I almost decided to read that book without reading the rest of this world, and that would be a mistake. So, gotta get to this. The next one is The Iron King by Julie Kagua. People been talking about it. I keep looking at it on my shelf and I'm like, I want to get there. It also doesn't look that long. I've heard great things. It sounds interesting. I'm just also on a roll right now. So like, why not? You know, why not just throw it into the mix? Why not just pick it up and be like, heck yeah, I'm going here for the time being. The other book, second to last book, penultimate book, Furyborn by Clare Legrand. I've had this for a while. Been wanting to read it for a while. Just haven't. Oh my god, are you multiple? Oh, it's multiple POV. Love that in a book. I want to get there. I keep looking at the other two books and I'm like, I can't buy you until I know I like you. So, there we go. And the last book is because this author's releasing another book in May, and I still haven't read her second book. And that's One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I know. I've let everyone down by not reading this book right away. But honestly, it's a little intimidating. And apparently there's some sci-fi elements in it. And people have been kind of saying that it's a little confusing. So I was a little bit nervous. And I also love Red, White, and Royal Blue so much that I'm scared that this isn't going to live up to the same hype as the other book. So I'm nervous, but also reading this will determine whether or not I want to buy her third book coming out. So we'll see. Oh, and also, another book that I realized won't be out for a while yet is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which will be her third published book released. That's coming out in May. I want to read that so fast because I love her books so much. They're so good. And also on my Kindle, I have A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayburn. I don't know what the author's name is. The first book in the Veronica Speedwell series. Gotta get to that, so that way then I can get on the train of all the patrons with Katie and Olivia, because every single reading sprints that these guys do, talking about Veronica and Stoker. I want to know about Veronica and Stoker. So that's where we are. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I should move any of these books to read right away. If you're excited about any of these books for me to read right away. If you want to read any of these books, anything at all, let me know down there. And if you guys like this content, make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to post more frequently, trying to be active, doing my best to survive in the world that is my life. And if anything, if you want to know when I post, hit that notification bell. And, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!